these sanitizers and verifiers to help at compile time or at runtime to boost the security. Although it's not 100%, it's important. I think it's an important direction. There are so many smart contracts bugs, like some examples are the parity bug last October, and then the sanitizers can help find uninitialized variables in similar cases. And so the unreachable code, uninitialized variables that I mentioned are more for static analysis. For runtime analysis, we can do this contract-oriented verifiers. If you transfer a large amount of money in micropayment situation, then we should signal this. One interesting example is the coin check. The exchange got hacked for 550 million US dollars. And that happened on January 26th. That around midnight, suddenly for that address, there are a lot of big payments, and then they transfer to another address in chunks, and each chunk is huge. So together is $550 million. But they do all this like transfers over the span of a few hours, and then after they transfer to their address, then they again transfer to other addresses to, I think, to hide the trace. Okay, but that's an example of like signaling when you see abnormal transfers. Okay, so other than security aspects, we also want to use LVM for inclusiveness. Okay, so like we want people to use simplified and restricted familiar languages. You can use these attributes and supported by LVM to limit the language use, but the syntax can be like familiar to you, because if each time if you need to learn yet another new domain-specific language, and then there's a learning curve, there's more chance to make mistakes. We're thinking one direction can be simplified and more restricted, but yet familiar language. Then this way we can support multiple languages that they are familiar to you, and also LVM can help us run on multiple platforms as well. Just like when I was working on Android, we made sure each Google Android system can be run on x86 and ARM and MIPS as well. We try to support similar things with LVM, so we are more inclusive. Today, the blockchain world is still quite a bit exclusive. I cannot imagine my mom use blockchain technology today. We want to popularize this technology to be run on more platforms, not just on these expensive mining machines. Okay, so a quick recap is we go over the scalability, interoperability challenges, and then the three smaller design points are security, multi-language, and multi-platform. So the next is about the token economy and the demo. Okay, so demo, I think we have a simple thing about using the Bitcoin blockchain testnet. Okay, right now we try to use Ethereum testnet and the Bitcoin testnet to minimize the transaction fee we need to pay. Okay, so this particular demo, we are using the regression mode in the Bitcoin testnet. Okay, so some part is more manual because this is a reg test net. not the mainnet. Okay, so before going into more details on the demo, the big picture is like say A and B want to exchange Bitcoin with the ethers. Okay, so the middle one are the shared contract states for a Pallet network. So this contract state has all this shared variable and a particular address for Bitcoin and another address for Ether, and both are multi-signature addresses. So user A, for example, they deposits Bitcoin to that address on the contract, and similarly, user B deposits Ether to that contract address. And then the jurors will reach consensus, say J1, J2, and J3. These three jurors will reach consensus. And then executes the contracts operations. The remaining operations will transfer Ether to A and Bitcoin to B. Okay, so this example shows how we deal with assets on different blockchains. We have this shared contract states, which can again be stored on any particular blockchain as long as that particular blockchain provides proof of existence capability.
Let's talk about how a client creates a simple smart contract in our Pallet environment. First, you need to fill in the name, the client's address, the contract type, and the amount of money to be transferred to the contract. One example contract type can be deposit contract. Next, we talk about how we deploy a transaction. To deploy a contract transaction, we go through several steps: the names and the multi-signature address and the contract code. The important step is to fill in the password. If the password is correct, then the back end will sign the transaction. Now we show you the resulting deployed transaction. Now you can see the ID of the deployed transaction. By the way, because this is the regression mode for Bitcoin testnets for this demo, you need to trigger mining manually. It doesn't need to be a particular blockchain such as Bitcoin. Next, you can also invoke contracts directly here. When you invoke a contract, you need to fill in the client's address, just like when you deploy it. And the next, you need to fill in the invoke action, such as A1000 here. This means we transfer $1,000 to the address A. Then, just like the deployment, we need to use signature to verify this transaction is really from this address. And then we get the transaction ID and the mission accomplished.
Okay, so I'll explain more details. But here at this stage we illustrate the like more inclusive usage. You deploy hello world contract. It's about asset exchange, asset transfer. You move one asset to a particular place. Okay, and then people can write more contracts. We have these templates but basically you fill in these different templates, and then we generate the corresponding contract code, and then this contract can be executed using this underlying Pallet contracts. And again, this Pallet jury, like all this jury list, this jury can be provided by different people. Doesn't need to be some Ethereum people can say, okay, they want to run this jury, and then people just pay Ether and to execute on that particular set of jurors. Similarly, like other blockchain, people can provide their own jury to use. And so the next. For example, that's the big picture for this token economy. It doesn't need to be a particular coin, but at the minimum, the Pallet distributor. Okay, sorry. Thank you. Okay, so at minimum, the Pallet distributor contract can provide Pallet token. If you choose to use Pallet token, then there will be particular set of jurors that's Pallet team